G'day everyone. Yesterday I had the most amazing encounter with a whole group of snakes, a whole family of snakes. But before I show you the footage, I'm going to give you a bit of a backstory into what actually happened. Then I'll show you this amazing footage. And then because this is a species of snake that a lot of you won't have heard of or won't know about, I'm going to explain quite a lot about the snake, stuff that I researched last night so that I can hopefully answer a few questions before they're even asked. Right, before I start, the backstory. Yesterday, it was my birthday, and my dad and mum, who I love dearly, decided to give me a full tank of fuel for my birthday. So my wife and kids and I, we went on a family road trip, and we went all the way up to Griffith in New South Wales. Griffith is about a 4-hour drive that way. There's no freeway, so you've got to keep slowing down for towns and whatnot, but it's up in the New South Wales Riverina region. It's a lot more arid than here. It's drier. It's a few degrees warmer than where I live. There's more sunshine, and there's all different types of birds and wildlife for us to photograph, and that's why we went up there. We were predominantly looking for birds. We were at a spot called Campbell's Swamp on the outskirts of Griffith, and my wife Loretta had gone that way looking for wrens and stuff, and I was walking along just to see what animals or what wildlife I could find, and I was just thinking to myself, I could see a snake here if I'm not careful. It's the middle of winter, but it was out of the wind. It was quite warm. It was about 15 degrees or 16 degrees, and lo and behold, I looked down and there's a little brown snake. First thought, baby brown snake, but I pretty quickly noticed a yellow pattern on the side of its face. To my delight, it was a yellow-faced whip snake. I've only ever seen one before in the Wangaratta area, and that was in the Warby Ranges about 10 years ago. So I was quite excited to see a yellow-faced whip snake. I quickly noticed that there was another one behind it. I got my mobile phone out and I started filming them, and then a third one took off up the back. There were 3. I'm like, wow. So I stopped filming. I only filmed a short video that I won't use. I went and got my good camera, and I photographed the 2 that were still there, and then I got my phone out and I started filming this video now. Now when I say I got my good camera, it's got a massive big telephoto lens. It wasn't suitable to film the snakes with. So in this video what you'll see is me getting down really low and getting close to these yellow-faced whip snakes. Now if you look really closely at the start of the video, you'll see there's actually 4. There's the 2 that I point out, but make sure you look really closely and you'll see 2 smaller ones in front of them, and I didn't even see them, and I thought they must have come up from underground while I was there. So I've got down on my hands and knees to get close to these 2 yellow-faced whip snakes, and I must have just about put my knees, or at least my hands, on top of these other snakes. These are an elapid. They're a front-fanged venomous snake, and I must have put my hands almost on them without even noticing them. So I see the 2, one starts moving, then I notice a third one, I get excited and you'll hear the excitement in my voice. Then I see the 4th one and I get even more excited. Then I say, well, including the one that took off, there was 5. Turned out there was 5. You only get to see 4 of them. But make sure at the start of this video you pay attention to the bottom of the screen, and you'll see the other 2, and blind Freddy here didn't even see them. Anyhow, I hope you enjoy this footage, and after the footage I'll explain a fair bit of stuff about the yellow-faced whip snake. I've taken some notes on my phone and I'll tell you all about it after you watch this footage. I hope you enjoy it. Have a look at this arid looking landscape. I'm on the outskirts of Griffith in the New South Wales Riverina region. There's a body of water at the back there, and that's called Campbell's Swamp. I'm up here taking bird photos on a cold winter's day, but it's about 12 or 13 degrees up here. And have a look at this down here on the red clay, out of the wind, there are 2 little brown snakes. Now, to the untrained eye, people would think that these are baby brown snakes, but what they are, I'm almost certain, are yellow-faced whip snakes, baby ones. There's one there, and there's one there. I'll go a bit closer in a moment. There were 3, but one of them took off up to the back. I don't know a lot about yellow-faced whip snakes. I know they're very fast. I've only ever seen one at Wangaratta, and that was in the Warby Ranges where I live. I know they're communal, and they're only a small snake. Even the big ones are small, but these are only about 40 centimetres long, so I suspect that they're quite young snakes. I'll get out of his, that one there's... At this point, I was totally oblivious to the fact that there were 2 other snakes. I thought there was only 2. I'm on my hands and knees, My right hand is holding the phone which I was filming with, and my left hand was on the ground. Probably pretty close to one of those two snakes at the front, I reckon. Get out of his sun. If you come over to this one here, you can see, I'll try and zoom in on his face without my shadow going there. Here's my little zoomer. You can see that sort of yellow face. That's why they call it a yellow-faced whip snake. Now, I'm not an expert on these snakes because we don't get them a lot at home. Like I said, I've seen one up in the Warby Ranges near Wangaratta, and that was it. These are the only other ones I've ever seen. What I do know about them is they're communal. Apparently they live together in communities. Where you find one, you usually find more. And I've learnt that by watching other snake catchers on YouTube videos. They're quite common in parts of Australia up north. I don't know about here whether they're common or not. I think they might be. And they're not a very big snake. And I know that they're venomous, but they're not dangerously venomous like a brown snake. I believe that they can give you a very, very painful bite if they do envenomate you though. So you're better off just to stand back. But how cool is it? Well, this one's just moved. Look, they're very fast. I know that much too. How cool is that? If you can hear a bit of background noise, there's a road right there. And there goes a motorbike or something. This one's just moving. Look, he's just about to... Oh, there's a third one right there, look. Did you see that? So there was four. They're all moving. There were four because that one's going down a hole, look. He's going down that hole. That one's gone down that hole, and that one's gone down that hole. And there's a fourth one just there. There's a fourth one. Look. There's a whole nest of yellow-faced whip snakes. So that one there, he's gone down a hole, but he's stuck his head back out. This one here's just gone down that hole. These two have gone down that hole. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, and one took off up that way just before when I first got here. I alerted one over to them bushes. This one's coming back out. He's not worried about me. He just wants some of this gorgeous winter sunshine. So I must be on like an old ant nest here. There's all these holes in the ground, and they're all down the ant nests. Look at this one coming back out. Look, he's just come back out. How cool is that? There it goes, look. That's the biggest one. The others were tiny. They wouldn't have been 15, 20 centimetres long. Folks, guess what? Today's my birthday. And this is my birthday present from the wildlife guides. As a wildlife photographer, that's not something you see every day. A whole nest of yellow-faced whip snakes. Wow, I reckon. You can see it's an old ant nest, this red clay here. I reckon when we leave, I reckon just give it a couple of minutes and they'll be back out because this sun is magnificent. How good was that? Should have gone to Specsavers. I totally did not even see those two snakes. They must have been right next to my hand. Now, had I got bitten by one, from what I understand, it would have been very painful, but probably not life-threatening. I'll tell you more about that shortly. But what's funny, when I got back to the car, I thought I won't tell Holly. Holly was in the car. Well, both my daughters were in the car, but I watched it with Holly and I said to her, I thought I won't tell her about the two snakes. She starts watching it, she says, there's two in front of you, bro, as well. She saw them on the phone, I couldn't even see them in real life. They were so well blended in. Anyway, I've done a bit of research and this is what I come up with. Yellow-faced whip snakes. I knew a little bit about them, but some of this is new to me as well. They cover large areas from coastal forest to inland regions. So they're found in coastal areas and they're found in inland arid areas and salt bushes and stuff. So they cover a really large area. They're found in all states of Australia except Tasmania. Tasmania does have a white-lipped snake, which is sort of similar, but they don't have this one, the yellow-faced whip snake. They're communal snakes and often found living together, especially during winter. See, snakes, and I've said this plenty of times on my channel, snakes don't hibernate. Hibernation means to go underground for the winter, come back out in the spring. Bears do it. They're a classic example. Snakes brumate, so they go underground for the dull days like today, and then when you get a bit of sunshine and a bit of warmth, they'll come back up from underground or in their crack in their rock or in a hollow log, wherever they're sleeping or brumating, and they'll come out and they'll sit in the sun. And then when the sun goes behind a cloud, they go back underground, and they'll do that all winter. I've used this analogy before, like older people in a nursing home. A day like today, they're probably all in the lounge room watching Days of Our Lives. Tomorrow, if the sun comes out, they might go and sit in the sun on the front veranda. Snakes do the same thing. They don't venture out to hunt or look for other food or anything, or look for mates or anything. They stay in their hole and they just move in and out of where they are. Now, yellow-faced whip snakes, they will brumate together, so you get a whole lot of them breeding together. They're egg layers. Red-belly black snakes give birth to live young, to live snakes, but the yellow-faced whip snake, they lay eggs. They're an egg layer, and they can all lay their eggs together, leading to upwards of 500 individual eggs in one nest. So just think, they're a communal snake, so they live in a community, they all come together, and they all lay their eggs in the one spot, and you can have up to 500 eggs of yellow-faced whip snakes, all in the one spot. Now, a lot of this is off Wikipedia online. Some of it was taken from a few other herping websites and stuff, wherever I could get the information. They're often found around rocky areas and under logs. In yesterday's case, it looked like they were in an old abandoned ant hole in the clay. I guess they make the best they can with what they've got, and yesterday they had clay in that area. They're a very fast and nervous snake and will often flee quickly when danger is near. And that's probably why a lot of people haven't seen them. The fact that I saw them yesterday like I did could be attributed to the fact it was only 14 or 15 degrees. When it's colder, snakes are generally a lot slower to move. In the warmer months, they're real skittish and they'll move a lot faster. They're solar powered, so in the cooler weather like now, they're a bit slower and dopey. So in the warmer months, they probably hear you coming and get out of the way, and that might be why we don't see so many of them. They're a diurnal snake, meaning that they're most active during the day. They hunt during the day and they're most active during the day. Then at night time they go to bed. Unless you're a shift worker, us humans are diurnal. We're designed to be awake at daytime and asleep at night time, and so are the yellow-faced whip snakes. They grow to 1 metre long, but they average about 80 centimetres and a little bit smaller for females. So the average male is about 80 centimetres, but they can grow to 1 metre. Females are a bit smaller. These ones were juveniles yesterday. They were only about the 30 to 40 centimetre range, and some of them mightn't have even been that long. They're an elapid, which means that they're venomous and best avoided. But a bite, this is what I read, a bite is unlikely to be fatal or make you sick, but it is known to be very painful around the bite area. So say yesterday, one had come and bitten me on the hand here while I was on my hands and knees. I would expect that I won't get sick and I won't die, but this area here could be very, very painful for a while. You see, the whole idea of snakes having venom isn't to chase humans down and kill them. That's to hunt prey. And in this case, the yellow-faced whip snake, they feed on lizards, small lizards like geckos and skinks. So they've got enough venom to kill a skink, but not a big human. So the area the size of a skink or the size of a gecko will get very painful in my hand. This is what I read online. But of course, as with any medications or anything, there could be allergic reactions or anything. You're best to avoid them because they are an elapid and they're unknown. So yeah, I found this fascinating. They've got the largest eyes of any Australian snake. That was from Wikipedia. May or may not be overly accurate, but of all the snakes that I see and I photograph, they've certainly got the largest eyes with proportion to the size of their head. They've certainly got very big eyes, and I'd imagine that they've got good eyesight. We're almost finished. The colours vary. They're usually a brown colour, but they can have a bit of a red tinge to them as well. They're often confused with juvenile brown snakes. They're often confused with juvenile brown snakes. Now, most of our Australian snakes are brown. We see a brown snake and we think, it's a brown snake, it's a baby brown snake. Legless lizards, olive legless lizards, Burton's legless lizards, they're brown, they look like baby brown snakes. Yellow-faced whip snakes. The one I mentioned earlier, the lip snake, the white lip snake in Tasmania and parts of Victoria, they all look like brown snakes. Usually juvenile brown snakes or eastern brown snakes have got black bandings on their head. They might have a black head, they might have a few black stripes. Sometimes they'll have black marks all the way down and look like a tiger snake. But they usually, when a brown snake's that long, it normally doesn't look like a traditional eastern brown snake. It's normally got some black marks of some kind on it. Anyway, folks, how cool was that footage? And I hope you liked the information all about the yellow-faced whip snake. I hope you found this video enjoyable. Thanks for watching.